Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of November 28th, taking us out of November, moving into the last month of the year. We're going to move into December. We're going to welcome Neptune out of retrograde. We've got a driven set of energies that are on the table this week. So we are really, I feel like personally, heading out of 2022 with a little bit of vigor behind us, but we're also not able to move quite as quickly, or things are not happening as quickly as we would like them to. But I actually feel really good for us. And I would love to know in the comment section down below, how are you feeling as we're at this point in the year? Because to me, the sense is we don't have all of the pieces just yet. Right? And there's no, in astrology, we don't restart the astrological new year until March. So we're not at the end of our year, right? We're at this nice pivotal, last 3 month space where it's like we don't have all of the answers, but I am certain of a certain direction that I'm going in. I like that. I also think that this week, the energy that's available to us is about moving things forward and having to back up, adjust, especially where we have to cooperate and collaborate with other individuals. So I think it's going to be an interesting week to see how this is going to be done. But we also have some really nice energy to work with to get things moving forward. Now, if you have not checked out my Astrology Busy book, I would love for you to check it out. It is a crossword puzzle. So you can sit down and just find words and learn about astrology and just be chilled out. It's actually very interesting. I'm getting ready to spend a whole bunch of time in travel. Plus, we are getting ready to move from this country, and I'm taking Astrology Busy books with us. I bought some of my own books for myself and my husband and my children, just things to have that get us, out of the digital space a little bit, I think is absolutely beautiful. So if you haven't gotten that, check in the description box down below to check it out. If you are looking to build your business, you're an entrepreneur in this next year, or you've got a business that is not making money, I can absolutely help you with that. Join me over on the Lagatia channel and we'll get into that together, okay? Now, even before we get into this forecast, I also want to remind you, kind of call you back to some beautiful interviews we've got on this channel. We had an interview this year with Mango Johnson talking about the Taurus and Scorpio energies that we've been working with, and we're not done with those energies throughout 2023, so please check it out. Also, have you checked out the interview yet that I did with the beautiful Taylor Schuler, where we are talking about looking back into 2022, seeing where you're going to land, where are the energies, and what is the call as we are here in December of 2022, and then where does that take us beyond 2022 into 23, 26, 27. So make sure you check out both of those interviews. They are built especially thinking about you in mind, gathering the information and helping you see the path and being your best astrologer and predictive, your best predictor of your own future as well. All right, let's get in here, beautiful friends, and talk about what's going on this week. Now, right out of the gate on Monday, we're coming in and that moon is still traveling through the energy of Aquarius. So it's still a little bit electric, but it's friendly. We're tapped into kind of a collective energy emotionally as we come into the week, which I think is very good because I'm telling you, we got to collaborate this week for sure. Now we get into Monday later in the day and we're going to see Mars and Saturn come into a trine. And this can be interesting because the trine creates the pocket of opportunity or ease of access to this energy, but you have to go to it. It's not handed to you. And sometimes it can be so easy or so it's just there's a natural vibe here that you actually miss out on it. So as we're looking at Mars and Saturn in this trine together, they're working together. Think perseverance. Think, I can do this. I can get this done, right? This is the combination of Mars, who wants it, desires it. I want to be about this. But Saturn, who gives you the sustainability to actually make that thing happen and to keep it. Now, Mars is retrograde in the energy of Gemini, so Mars is slowed down. Okay, it's not moving with any speed going forward, but it is moving with efficiency at something, an action, a desire that you had in the past. And you needed to find out, do you still want that? Do you have the strategy? Do you have the information, the networking, do you have the communications in place about it in order to allow that desire to start to actualize. And then as it trines Saturn, who's here in the energy of Aquarius, it's like, okay, now I have the stamina to go back into this thing I desired and actually get it done. So as we're here later in the day, think about commitment, committing to what you are trying to do between these Gemini and Aquarian areas in your chart. Where does that light up for you? If you're not sure, if you're a little bit newer here and you're not sure how to find the active transits in your chart, I've also got a video in the description box down below so that you can find it and see where these areas are lit up for you personally as well, okay? But so keep in mind that this is a driven energy. It wants to get something done, but moving something forward will simply not happen as quickly as it normally does when we're not dealing with so much retrograde. Now, as we get to Tuesday, okay, we're going to see Mercury come into an opposition with Mars. Now, as these two come into an opposition, it's kind of a stacked energy for the day. Now, watch on the screen because I've got all of the aspects for you so that you can see what's happening in full in the day. But I do want you to understand that they happen separately, but sometimes when there's a lot going in a day, it can kind of feel like a pileup. So we'll have Mercury in opposition to Mars. The moon's then going to transit into the energy of Pisces. And then later in the day, we'll see Mercury in a sextile to Saturn. So kind of the vibration for the day is that, okay, I felt driven through Monday. I feel like I can commit. I'm ready to move something forward, maybe even a little bit of optimism. Mercury opposes Mars, and like what I was thinking or how I was thinking or what I was talking about kind of comes to a little halt, right? There's a halt in the action in some way. So it can feel like energy goes, wait a minute. Now the moon moves into the energy of Pisces, and it can kind of have this sense of doubt. We can meet doubt instead of meeting it as, okay, I just need to release and go with the flow. Sometimes as this comes around, I can feel doubt, or what happens is I get upset and I think this is happening because of this. And it can become the blame game kind of energy. So I want you to remember, as the moon then, after this opposition happens, moves into that Pisces place, that it is not about it has to happen now, or if that is what's going through your head, anything that says, except for an actual emergency, that says it has to happen now or it's not right, that is the difference between reality and just fear driving. Because later, when we get into that Mercury sextile Saturn, it's like, oh, okay, I just needed a minute to reset. Things are moving as they need to, because the sextile creates the pocket of opportunity, but then we intelligently take action on the opportunity presented. So here it's like, my mind is a little bit clearer. I need to join together in this way to get this done. Okay, everybody's having a delay with the plumber, whatever it is, you kind of find out in a collective way that everybody's in the same boat that you are. And what this does is it gives you back your authority, right? You get to author your own story. But when our heads are scattered, or when we've got a vision, or we're telling ourselves a story about how something's going, we lose the ability to honestly and authentically author our own stories forward, because then we're working from a delusion. So this hands you back a bit of reality, and you go, okay, all right, I got it. I'm clear-minded. Here's my next decision. I also think that this Mercury sextile Saturn is fantastic if you needed to teach, if you were going to, like, if you have to stand in a power of expertise or authority, this really helps you shine under that energy. So you got a presentation you need to do, thinking about recording that YouTube video, that podcast, going to have that conversation with someone in your family, this is a great energy to help you out, okay? When we get to Wednesday, we're going to see Venus now come into a Mars. Venus come into an opposition with Mars. And as the lovers find themselves in opposition, it's just what it is. Think about being in a relationship, okay, if you've ever been in one. Or think about, the opposing energy. One's going this way, one's going this way. It doesn't mean that anybody's right or wrong. Both just have information, and we're trying to integrate that particular sense of information, right? So as the lovers are opposing one another, first of all, it brings tension. There is tension. Now, sometimes when the lovers have tension, that is fantastic, right? A little sexual tension, never hurt nobody, right? So if you're feeling like there's a little something brewing here. Yes, sometimes you need a little tension to make sure things are functioning well, healthy. It's developmental tension, right? You don't develop unless there is tension. Now, in a complete other way, something that I think about here is that because this is pulling energy and it can feel like it is not as optimistic, it doesn't feel as energetically sound. Think about what both sides want. Be cautious, but also be in action. Challenge what you value based on what you're doing. This is a great place to look at revaluing those energies, okay? And also, I just say whenever there's opposition, look for ways to expel that energy out of your body, whether it's dancing, singing, playing, moving, shouting, punch a pillow, whatever it is for you, get a little bit of that developmental tension out of your body as well if you can, okay? Now, as we get to Thursday, it's actually an interesting energy, but it's not until later in the day. So first of all, we get Mercury here squaring Neptune. Okay, as Mercury and Neptune square each other, what is the truth begins to get questionable. So this is an energy today. I'm going to tell you on Thursday, I want you to be mindful for several reasons. One, because this can bring a lack of clarity, but also Neptune is vibrating, getting ready to station direct in just a couple days. So we've got a planet that is energetically in transition as well. So, first of all, please proceed with caution around information that you are receiving this day. Okay, it may really, if you are coming at something and you are feeling super self-righteous, or you are feeling like someone is trying to pull a position of righteousness on you, I just want you to pause and reflect on the information that you're receiving. What is the truth? You're looking for the truth on Thursday. What is real, what is not? But whenever Neptune gets involved, one of the things I think of is, yes, great compassion is absolutely available here. Great understanding, great charity is available here, but also confusion. Maybe you do not understand the information. Maybe you don't have all of the information of what's going on. If you're ready to take some steps forward, you've kind of gained some information this week, but you're like, I'm not sure that what I'm looking at is really here, or I feel like I'm not firm to make a decision. Let it pass for a minute. Hold on. Information is always, the truth is always going to reveal itself. If you need to step back for a minute, breathe, check in, make sure you're mentally, bodily, healthily sound and sane in what you're doing. Pausing is an action verb. It is an actual action you can take to allow clarity. Okay. Now, also, though, because this is a square, the other thing I think of is if you feel like you're getting an absolute download, right? Like you're getting this spiritual information, your intuition is lighting up. But there is, when you go to take action on something that came through intuition, you feel like your gut tighten a little. I also want you to question what's coming through your spiritual space, okay? Because we, as much as we want our intuition to be firing and be accurate at all time, we are tasked with traveling with a human conditioned mind, right? So we need to be sure that the information we're working with is clear and true, not a toxin that is pulling itself in, okay? Now, later in the day, we're going to see Venus come into a sextile with Saturn. I actually like this because, first of all, again, that sextile creates an opportunity, but then we intelligently take action on it. So it starts to kind of relieve some of the confusion, some of the pressure that's been put on. And instead, I think it moves us in the space where it's like, okay, what I value, what I've seen, my relationships, my finances are beginning to come into a space of stability. What I'm attracting into me, Venus, right? When I understand myself differently, when I see a situation, myself, other things around me with a different sense of clarity, or something that feels a lot more stable in the vibration, I naturally attract to me that which is like me. Right. So I think this is a fantastic energy here, but it's also the energy. It's Saturn. I'm looking at the day. And as Saturn shows up, Saturn also rewards hard work. So if you've been working hard, you've been getting clarity on your values, you've been getting clarity on the commitments that you were willing to make here at the beginning of the week, Saturn really does give kind of that payoff, like, good job, you've been working hard, you're owning your expertise. here's some kudos for you. Now, think about this, okay? Flashback with me. We were here, we experienced this aspect in May 24th. Okay, look back at that time. What were you doing around commitments at that particular time that maybe there was a little reward or you were really getting some clarity or things were stabilizing at that time? Now, when we get later in that day, we're going to see the moon move into Aries. So now we are ready for a little bit more. We're ready to start something. Emotionally, we have found out some things we're willing to fight for. It's a little bit more of that Aries energy, but it also is the place that calls emotionally for right action. Am I taking the next right action? Am I doing the next right thing? Even if I don't have all of the answers, am I just putting my head where my hands are? Like, really, take a minute with me, you guys. Feel that. Feel your fingertips. Come to the tip of your fingertips. Put your head where your hands are. Touch the desk in front of you. Touch your thighs. Touch something. Put your head where your hands are. That is an emotional Aries move that grounds you into now, lets you see where you've got your most warrior strategy to move from emotionally, right? It's the power of now brought to your fingertips for sure. Okay, when we get to Saturday, we have got Neptune coming direct in the energy of Pisces. Now, when Neptune is direct normally, we have access to the between the worlds, right? The world of fantasy, and we have to have it. We have to have the intangible place to create where we get a vision of something or we recall a memory from someplace from the past between the worlds. We have to see it here so that we can create it here, right? So when Neptune is direct, we have access to the daydream, we have access to the fantasy. We typically have access to compassion in a different ways, for other people or other institutions. We just generally have access to an intangible space that we don't. So when Neptune goes retrograde, reality becomes reality. Things become very concrete, right? Like that ideal or that vision that I had for myself or for my life or what I believed would govern me, make me better, really, you know what I mean? Like this is my ideal for my life and my society even. When Neptune is retrograde, it gets concrete and it's like, yeah, can you actually live by that ideal? Does that actually fit your life? Is that who you are? Do you own and possess currently any of those qualities that make you that ideal? Are you an ideal partner? Right? Like you are saying, I want partnership in my life, but what makes you an ideal partner? Do you live up to integrity? Do you have honesty? Are your finances together? What makes you the ideal? Like things get very concrete when Neptune is retrograde because we have to actually see where are we in the development of that ideal? Like, do we need it? Do our insides need it? Do we practice compassion and giving forgiveness to people who are never going to offer us that amends? They are never going to say sorry, whether it's because they can't or they don't know that they need to or they won't, right? Like, where are we in the actual practice of these intangible virtues and ideals that now we have to bring down to earth? It also is, I think, a fantastic time to look at truly in the nature of your society. Where do you fit into that ideal? Does your society match your ideals anymore? Do you want to physically live in the space of your society? Or what would you like to do to be a part of changing the dynamics of those ideals as well? So now, as Neptune comes direct, we've had a chance to very much so get grounded into the heavy reality, which is sometimes very depressing, sometimes very confusing, right? When we're in it, it's like, man, that is really not what I thought it was, right? Or I see how I can make it better, right? The Neptune comes direct and we get access again to this intangible place where you can say, okay, I found out in my partnership, I found out in my money, these are the qualities I needed to work on to actually be the ideal that I'm calling into my life, right? When I can adjust and tell the truth about the vibration I carry, then I can call in what I really want. I can manifest that. I can let my body get into that and hold that vibration to call what I want into my life. And naturally, my vibration will call into my life who and what I am at this time, right? So Neptune direct is like, okay, we have tweaked that vibration. We have tweaked that understanding. Now let's move forward and call into us what we can work with next. We'll create a life We'll create ideals around that. We have to create in the intangible place, and then we'll make it real here in a concrete reality. Like, I am very excited about it, and hopefully you watched your December videos because you get to see me get pretty lit about Neptune coming direct. And I know that not everybody feels that way, but I get excited. Okay, on Sunday, we've got the sun in a trine to Chiron. We've also got the moon entering into Taurus, and Venus and Neptune now in that square. So let's take that apart. So first we've got the sun, our light, heat, life, motivation, right? We're driven, we're motivated by this energy in a trine, opportunity, with Chiron, our wound, but our wounded healer slash teacher as well. So as these two come together, it's kind of this place where I feel like if you close your eyes and you give yourself a nod, you see where you have been a really good counselor to yourself, where you can coach yourself and say, we've done some good healing, we've done some good work. Where are we in our self-acceptance? I accept us, right? Yes, these are my thighs, these are my eyes, this is my hair, this is my culture. Whatever it is that surrounds the identity, you get an opportunity to see where some healing has been done, but it is also a fantastic day and a fantastic energy for you to be that healer, right? Put out an offering of your life. Where has someone asked you for help and you can just say yes regardless of what you think, right? Like, and I'm not saying if somebody said I need $500 and you don't know them, like, obviously don't do that. That is, don't hear what I'm not saying. But did somebody say, can you help me move my couch? And you're like, no, I'm trying to Netflix and chill. And you can say yes. Or look back to August 7th, we had this aspect. What was coming up for you that was around care and acceptance and service? Look into that energy. Now, Neptune, Venus square, okay? Excuse me, let me say that correctly. Venus, Neptune square. So as we see this energy come on Sunday, this is what I think is interesting because these are the Bopsy twins. I love these two. It's said that Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, so just a very pure love. But as these two square against each other, it's charm squaring delusion a little bit, okay? So one of the first things I think of in this square, as we come into Sunday and you're recognizing who you are and your power and what you've been through and the way you've healed and what you know, like, lean into that, right? Lean into it as a healing journey, not as the crutch. This is a day where the story gets a little bit tricky, right? Am I leaning on this as my story, as a reference guide? Like, this is where I came from, this is what I did, this is where I am today. Or are you leaning on it like, well, when I was 15, this happened, and it's the story that's the crutch instead of the helper. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I shared this quote during the Taylor interview, and I want to share it here because I think it's important. This woman said, you are born looking like your parents, and you will die looking like your choices. And I think that this is a powerful day for that because Venus square Neptune, Venus is what I value. What I value, how I value it, my relationships, my finances, but what I value. Squaring Neptune, an ideal, right? Neptune's just come out of retrograde. So an ideal or a vision or sometimes just it's a delusion, right? So this can create a false sense of what I value, or it's false. I've been basing my security or my values off of this, and this is false, but I know it now. Neptune is direct. I see it. I have a clarity about it, but today I might run into it. Now, another thing that I think we have to be mindful of, I want you to be mindful of on Sunday, is a person, place, or thing representing itself to you. Whether it's in business, it's in love, it's in your cute child who you love, right? But they're not presenting the truth. They're presenting themselves as something that they're not actually. Or you are presenting yourself as something you are not actually. So I really want you to be just mindful, not afraid, but mindful that it is a day where the information is maybe not as true as you find out that it is. right? And this is to the positive and the negative, right? If somebody, you meet somebody and it is just your eyelashes are blown back, like love it. Oh my God, go with that day of ecstasy, like enjoy that, my beautiful friend. But just be mindful that I got to see what this is, 3 weeks down the road. I need to see what this is, but also that opportunity that you thought there's absolutely no way I could ever afford to work with that person. There's no way I could ever join that program. There's no way I could ever fill in the blank. And you find out that you can, right? Like, because to you, this person, this opportunity, this school was representing itself as it's just too expensive, or it's too much time, or it's too much whatever. And you find out, oh my God, I'm going to actually be able to afford to do this. Or, oh my God, an opportunity has been made real and I can step into it, right? Whatever it is, if the opportunity is just really delicious and true, give it a couple days. And if it's still there, then take advantage, okay? All right, now as we're going to close out this day, we're going to have the moon move into the energy of Taurus. So grounding us down a little, bring us out of all of this all week. Come back to your creature comforts. What do you need to be comfortable? What do you need to feel beautiful? What do you need to kind of settle in? Where do you need to ask yourself emotionally, am I relaxed? Am I just letting it be good? At an evolutionary level, Taurus's job is to chill out. Chill out emotionally. Where are you chilling out? Right? This is a great question as we end this week. All right, my beautiful friends, enjoy the week. Enjoy our channel. Right? There is so much content here. There is so much content, from current interviews back to videos I made in 2014. And let me I'm going to just share this with you because I feel like we're close enough now. There are some videos from when Stormie Grace first started being Stormie Grace. Out here, the content is wonderful. The information is true. It's well delivered. And you guys can see some growth, some progress. There is one whole video out there that is massively viewed that I'm going to just tell you what, my lipstick was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And there was one video where my wig, my hairstyle for the chosen video was absolutely crooked. Absolutely crooked. And I didn't even know that. I had no idea about it. So there is a lot of growth available to be seen here. But the point and the fact is I have grown this business up in public with you. So first of all, I thank you for watching and being with me. And second of all, if you are worried about your own growth, or you're like, I'm too shy to come out, or I don't know, come on out here. I did videos with trash lipstick and a crooked wig. Come out here. Show us who you are. Step into your power. Enjoy this channel. Go in, dig into the content, because it is rich with videos I have made, videos teachers have come over to share with you, concepts about astrology. So dig in and enjoy. All right, my beautiful friends, I love you, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.